Geminis, March is going to be one of the most important and impactful months we are going to have in 2025. So in this video, I want to give you your complete rundown into how March of 2025 is going to affect you, and specifically how these eclipses are going to affect you as well, both in the micro and the macro scale. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Isabelle, your spiritual rebel friend, and today we are talking about Gemini's complete March of 2025 / eclipse season horoscope. So if you want to know how you're going to be affected both by the eclipses and what other transits are going to be affecting you, watch on. In this video specifically, I'm going to cover the major themes for Gemini in March, how the Virgo and Aries eclipses will affect Gemini, additional transits in March and how they will affect Gemini, and practical tips for Gemini to work with this energy in March. So if you want to know not only what the information is of what is going on in March in astrology, but also how to practically apply this to your life for your benefit, watch through to the end of this video. I'm also testing out a new video format today, Geminis, so please let me know in the comments below after watching if you liked this format or if you have maybe a better idea of format. And if you want to dive deeper into how you are specifically going to be affected by these eclipses in March of 2025 and how March as a general concept is going to affect you, book a reading down below where either in 1 hour we can dive deep into any and everything about your chart, or you can get a 30-minute new moon / full moon horoscope where we can dive into how the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo is going to affect you, or the solar eclipse in Aries. This is a new offering that I've only just listed, so check it out in the same link in the description below to learn more about my readings. So first and foremost, what is the major theme for Gemini in March of 2025 with these eclipses and what is present in the stars? Gemini, the major themes for you in your life in March of 2025 revolves around purpose and home. How you make an impact out there and what it feels like to come home in here, to come home to yourself, to come home to those you love, and what feels like home to you. I think this is a really beautiful dynamic going on for you, Gemini, because not only do you have this sense of really wanting to make a big impact, but you're starting to see more and more also how having that sense of security and home, somewhere to rest your head, metaphorically and physically, affects your ability to pursue home. And vice versa, this applies your ability to find your sense of purpose and find your sense of meaning and impact helps you now focus on cultivating more positivity in your home life. There's going to also be a lot of assessment around your sense of purpose and how you initiate change in this area of your life. There could also be a lot of communication with your purpose, meaning that really purpose and impact is very highlighted for you this month, in the sense that you've been thinking about this a lot in the last 2 years, what impact means, what your individual purpose is, how you are going to leave an impact on humanity, how you're going to cause that ripple effect, or what kind of ripple effect you want to leave, what your biggest aspirations are, where even simply put your community lies, and what your friend groups are like. This is going to be something that is amplified this month, not only wanting to initiate change here, but you're going to be assessing your values here, having conversations a lot in this realm, and revisiting old conversations in this realm. Now, why exactly do I say this? This is because we have 2 eclipses happening this month. We opened the eclipse portal on February 27th with the new moon in Pisces. And so that activated the energy of the eclipse season portal, where we will be now having an eclipse in Virgo and then in Aries, which begins a new 18-month story and closes an old 18-month story. So this is extremely huge for all 12 zodiac signs, and it affects each sign subtly differently. And for you, this revolves a lot around your home and your purpose, hence why I have emphasized purpose so much for you in your overview of what the major themes are for you in March of 2025. So now I want to go into what exactly you can expect with the eclipses in Virgo and Aries and how they're going to affect you. Because if you're going to note just any one transit in March of 2025, I would just note the eclipses. You could Just pay attention to those and be fine. And they are really the most important part of the month, and arguably one of the most important parts of our year, alongside the other eclipse season we're going to have in September of 2025, because eclipses act like gateways. I love how moon omens describe that they are like portals. It can quite literally feel like a new option appears, and it oftentimes can bring unexpected changes our way, unexpected encounters, fated encounters, destined events. So there's this element of destiny, so to say, that plays out with eclipse season, and we can really flow with it to step into our highest growth. So this eclipse season for you is going to be revolving around your home and purpose. Why is that? Let's break it down. Starting off on March 14th, we are going to have a full moon total lunar eclipse in Virgo at 23 degrees of Virgo. And this is the first key point we're having in the story that began on January 11th of 2025, when the North Node entered Pisces and the South Node entered Virgo. This is highlighting the difference or the axis of your career in recognition and your home life, being seen and being reclusive in many ways. Wherever the South Node currently transits is what we are cleansing, purging, detoxing, cleaning out the closet on. And this is for you, your fourth house of home and family. And so this is where we're having the lunar eclipse, the total lunar eclipse, which is in the end an emphasized full moon. And so this is a time to reap reward in this area of your life, but also shine a light, kind of like my light here in the corner, on what needs to be released. And I think the releasing side of things is really emphasized with a lunar eclipse based off of my past experience. It's a reaping a reward still, nonetheless, but the reward might be the ability to let something go that no longer serves you. And this is even more emphasized because the South Node is all about letting go of what doesn't serve to make space for what does serve, which for you over the next 18 months is going to be about career. It is possible with the new moon in Pisces on February 27th, you are initiating something new in your career, or maybe even setting a new intention. Let me know if that was true for you in the comments below, Geminis. Point being, with the full moon lunar eclipse on March 14th in Virgo, this is a time for you to realize, recognize what no longer serves you in your home life. Specifically, things in your home life having to do with being too critical, perfectionistic, or materialistic. Virgo is very earthly. It is an earth sign. It sees the material reality and tries to provide material service. And so maybe there's some sort of mentality like that presenting itself for you in your home life that is now being called to be released. You may realize some of your critical patterns or materialistic patterns in your home life. And this will kick off the changes that are going to take place over the next 18 months for you. You are letting go of what no longer serves you in your home life. But this lunar eclipse in Virgo is only one half of the whole story that is playing out for you in March, Gemini. Not only are we going to have a full moon lunar eclipse on the 14th, but on March 29th, we have our final solar eclipse in Aries at 9 degrees of Aries. And I want you to pay attention to the fact that it's at 9 degrees because the new moon in Pisces on February 27th was at 9 degrees, and we're going to have some other planets moving direct and retrograde at 9 degrees. So the number 9 reoccurs. And if you know anything about numerology, you'll find that fascinating like I do. If that's overwhelming for you, you don't have to note it. It's also the first decan of Aries, which is the stereotypical Aries, which is the Fool. The idea of the Fool, but yet numerology 9 brings a sense of completion. Basically, the idea that I described in my previous video for Taurus, it's the idea and understanding that we are both the wise old sage who knows nothing, that we are forever a student to the universe, and that our learning journey is never quite complete. So that is really what I see with this energy playing out of Aries, is this idea of Aries, no matter what, is impulsive to some degree. They're imperfect. They are the Fool, but we can have a deep understanding in our previous things we've learned, but also understand that we will never quite fully know and understand that we don't have to be perfect. And this works as a beautiful axis with having a Virgo lunar eclipse as well, really releasing perfectionism and also taking a stand. Point being, this new moon solar eclipse is so incredibly important for you, Gemini, alongside the other signs, because since 2023, you've been trying to initiate a change, a bold, brave, authentic beginning in your purpose and community, in your greatest aspirations, in your impact on the world, finding your purpose and your place. But maybe you feel like this story hasn't been able to wrap up. maybe you were expecting it to wrap up in October of 2024 and nothing quite happened, or possibly end of September alongside with that. And that is because you have been waiting for this solar eclipse that is going to happen on March 29th, which will wrap up this story once and for all. Since July of 2023, we have had the North Node in Aries, which has been calling you to grow into your purpose. And we got a taste of that theme in April of 2023, where you initiated something that later came more into play in relevance to your purpose and being bold and independent in your purpose. So now with the Aries solar eclipse on the 29th, you may be finally initiating what you have been craving in your purpose, in your meaning, in your impact, in your community, in your big groups, in your big aspirations, in your place within humanity, in your individualized role. This is huge for you, Gemini. So you can finally understand what it is you've been craving and reaching for in your sense of purpose and initiate a bold new change that will last. And Mars is also going to be retrograde in 0 degrees of Aries at the same time as this new moon solar eclipse, which means you may be communicating something in an old conversation or old dialogue once and for all to really step into this purpose. How exactly this plays out for you, I'm not sure. This could be leaving a career. This could be starting a new career. This could really just be stating your purpose. This could be giving a speech. There's so many different things, and it really just depends on what purpose means to you. So those are the key takeaways that you need to know and the main effects that you're going to be feeling in March because of eclipse season. Starting off at the beginning of the month, you're building up towards those Virgo themes on the 14th about what you need to release and understand and experience renewal in, almost not renewal, experience culminations and rewards in your home life. And then that slowly transitions to this Aries energy where you're initiating that bold new change. So I'm going to put a summary over the screen for you that I've written up for Geminis for their eclipse season horoscope. Feel free to take a screenshot because this is your key takeaway you should just remember for the month if you're going to remember anything. But with the Virgo lunar eclipse in your 4th house, you are taking the first step in letting go of what practical, critical, or materialistic behaviors no longer serve you in your home, place of living, and family. And by letting go, you experience a moment of fulfillment in this area of life. Again, full moons are rewards, reaping reward. The Aries solar eclipse in your 11th house means you're finally initiating the new beginnings in your community, purpose, dreams, and aspirations that you've been working on since 2023. Ask yourself during this time, what independence and authenticity is my soul ready to initiate in my purpose? And what perfectionistic, materialistic, or critical behaviors do I need to let go of in order to feel true fulfillment in my home, place of living, and family? Let me know if that summary worked well for you guys in the comments below, or if you have more questions on that. But now I want to take the next few minutes of this video to talk about additional transits that are happening in March of 2025 and how they will affect you, Gemini, because yes, the eclipse season is the main theme, but we also have a lot else happening in the stars that is going to affect also more so your purpose as well as your career and potentially even your love life. So I want to break this down and hopefully make it simple. Again, I'm trying out a new format, so let me know if you guys like this in the comments below. So starting off, let's talk about Venus transits. Venus, the planet of love, wealth, and romance, does a lot that is playing a role on this eclipse season. Starting off the month, March 1st, Venus stations retrograde in 10 degrees of Aries. 10 and 9, very similar, yet symbolically different means. Point being, with Venus going retrograde, my interpretation of Venus retrograde, it can be about reflection on love, retraction in love life, but you know, it depends on the house it's in. And so for you, this is in your 11th house of purpose and community. So it could be that you're maybe reflecting on the value of your independence within your community, or reflecting on the assertive stance you may be taking or not so assertive stance within your community. This is simply put, Venus retrograde, in my opinion, or my interpretation as an astrologer, is reflection of values, reflection on what brings us joy and pleasure, because Venus represents our value and our pleasure. So when Venus goes retrograde in Aries on the 1st, that taints the rest of the month for you leading up to the eclipse in reflecting first on the values you've tried to initiate into your purpose, meaning, aspirations, and more. So there's a reflection reflection of values there. And Venus does a few transits and aspects throughout the month while retrograde. Mercury in Aries is going to conjunct Venus in Aries, which means you may be communicating a value you're reflecting on, or having a conversation that helps you realize your values in this area of life. Every transit's a two-way street, so it could go both ways. On March 21st, Venus in Aries is going to sextile Pluto in Aquarius, and I'm actually not going to touch on that one yet, even though we're talking about Venus, because Pluto in Aquarius does multiple aspects that I've created my own segment to talk about. On March 21st or 22nd, the Sun in Aries is going to conjunct Venus in Aries, which could heighten the vitality and energy and desire to really recognize what values you're living by in your purpose and aspirations and community. And then on March 27th, right before the solar eclipse in Aries, Venus retrograde is going to re-enter Pisces in conjunct Neptune, which means then your focus on assessing your values is going to shift away from focusing on the values of your purpose and more so on the values of a career. And that is one thing I want to note that I love in astrology, that purpose and career are technically two separate topics. Your career and recognition are a topic, and your purpose and place are a topic. Oftentimes, I think in modern day society, those become very intertwined, and it is partially a positive, and they do come intertwined, but maybe there is a bit of separation that can be in place there, especially because the 11th house takes into account your individuality and your whole being, whereas the 10th house is the core traits you can be recognized and successful for. So when Venus goes retrograde back into Pisces and conjuncts Neptune, you're going to start to reflect, Geminis, on the value of your career image and your reputation within your career, and maybe start to think about some idealisms that you want to uphold in this area of life. So Venus does a lot of transits throughout the month, but not only does Venus do a lot of transits for you, Gemini, in March that are going to affect you, but so does Mercury, which is why I say there's going to be so much heightened communication for you in your purpose and aspiration. Mercury does a lot of transits, and you'll see that over the screen right now. Starting off the month, Mercury enters Aries and leaves the sign of Pisces. And so what this does is that it really puts the priority on, not only are you already having the energy of the solar eclipse in Aries in your 11th house, building momentum to say, this is the new change I need to make. And not only are you throughout the month assessing your values in that same area of your life, but you're also going to be heightening your communication. Now, this could mean a few different things for you, Gemini. Because this is your 11th house, you could be communicating to yourself, having more mental clarity and realizations around your sense of purpose and what your aspirations are and what your unique meaning is and individuality is, your mark to leave on the world. But you could also be having heightened communication and expression, potentially even being seen in your community or in your realm of purpose. For example, if you do purposeful work, you would consider, or if you feel like your 11th and 10th house are very tied together, if you're doing something for purpose or working on a group project, you could be more seen and communicating here more. Or you could simply be communicating more with your community. That's on March 3rd. That begins, so throughout the entire month. And Mercury is going to be in Aries for a while because Mercury is going to go retrograde. And you'll see that I skipped over a few aspects there, or at least the sextile with Pluto and Aquarius. Again, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. March 11th, before Mercury stations retrograde, Mercury forms a conjunction to Venus retrograde in Aries, which I believe technically I already touched on. So I don't need to recap that as well. Communication in love and communication, reflecting on values, communicating reflection values. Then on March 15th, Mercury stations retrograde at, guess what degree? 9 degrees of Aries, bringing back that numerology 9, which I'm simply going to summarize as being the wise old sage who knows they are the fool no matter what, the forever student of life. And so when Mercury goes retrograde, this means that you're revisiting old connections and old conversations around your purpose. You may come into contact with someone who helps you understand what your purpose is, or having an old connection that helps you find your purpose, or revisiting old things that used to give you a sense of purpose. There could be some sort of maybe even potentially a network that you get in touch with that could help you find your sense of purpose as well. So from March 15th onward, Mercury is retrograde. On March 24th, the Sun is going to be in Aries and conjunct Mercury retrograde in Aries, which brings extra energy and vitality to your conversations with your purpose and reflecting on your purpose. On March 25th, Mercury in Aries sextiles Pluto and Aquarius. Again, going to talk about that one in a minute. because it's Pluto in Aquarius. And then March 29th/30th, Mercury in Pisces conjuncts Neptune in Pisces. So Mercury on March 29th re-enters Pisces and will be conjunct Neptune right before Neptune leaves the sign of Pisces. And what that does is that you may be starting to realize what it is you need to do even more so with your career. Again, purpose and career are two different things in astrological views. And so when Mercury goes retrograde back into Pisces at the end of the month, you may have some form of realization or old connection come your way, or old conversation that helps you think about what you want in regards to your career over the next 18 months. And you may be feeling a bit of idealism or potential confusion around that topic because Neptune is present. So Mercury does a lot of transits, point being heightening your communication in your career, or not your career, heightening your communication in your purpose, aspiration, and in your communities. This can be internal reflection or external conversations or people coming back into your life. Then we have a lot happening with Pluto in Aquarius. Quick note with Pluto in Aquarius, we had a lot happening in regards to Pluto in Aquarius and Mercury back in January. I want to say end of January, beginning of February. So look back to the 2 months of beginning the year. What were you transforming in regards to, what would that be? That's your 9th house, I think. Yes. What were you transforming in regards to your personal beliefs and ideologies? What were you changing in the way you perceive the world, and how, or what were you changing in maybe even in your experiences, and how did that change your way of perceiving the world? With Pluto being in Aquarius in your 9th house, you are transforming and innovating your personal beliefs and ideologies. For many in a very stereotypical setting, this could be if you have a stereotypically very religious family and you never related to the religion, but you follow it on autopilot, you may be questioning your religion now. That's just an example, but you can kind of take that metaphor or that kind of situation into account to maybe how it applies to you. This has to do with your personal beliefs and maybe even your beliefs about travel as well. So point being, Pluto forms in Aquarius many sextiles to Aquarius energy. What this symbolically represents is that what you've been doing in relevance to your personal beliefs is supporting your purpose, and what you've been doing in your purpose is supporting your personal beliefs over the next 20-year cycle that you're going through with transforming your personal beliefs and ideologies. I love talking about the 9th and 11th house together because they really do represent the two facets of purpose. The 9th house is the house of why are we here? And the 11th house is why am I here? And so together, your understanding of purpose is working together. So this can feel like a very purposeful month for you, Gemini, where you're really in touch with why we are here and why you specifically are here. This can feel very, very meaningful and very, very positive. Sextiles are positive aspects. So throughout the month, you're going to have multiple aspects involving Pluto in Aquarius in your 9th house that can help you get in touch with purpose, meaning, and it'll help you understand what it is you need to initiate on the 29th in regards to your purpose. So starting off March 5th, Mercury in Aries directs sextiles Pluto in Aquarius. You may be having a conversation in your community that connects to your individual sense of meaning and purpose, or what your personal beliefs and ideologies are, or vice versa. You could be learning something that helps you understand your personal beliefs and ideologies in that sense. Your personal beliefs and ideologies are in heightened communication. And this will come back later on March 25th when Mercury is retrograde in Aries and forms the same sextile to Pluto Aquarius. So a conversation or an insight you have around the 5th could come back around the 25th, right before the solar eclipse. And this could play a role in helping you decide what it is you need to initiate on the 29th. On the 21st, Venus retrograde in Aries forms a sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. So this is more of a value assessment. Your assessment of your value, of your independence, in your purpose could be going hand in hand with the personal beliefs and ideologies that you're trying to renovate, and vice versa. It goes both ways. Your personal beliefs and ideologies that you're trying to renovate could help you understand what it is that you value in your purpose and what you don't. And then on the 23rd, the Sun in Aries forms a sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. So this adds vitality, realization, strength in your integrity, in your beliefs. Very well, baby. And the final thing that I will mention that is happening as far as overview of transits for you, Gemini, that you should note as far as general themes, at least, because there's a few more transits I'm going to cover after this. After all, I mentioned your love life and there is something going on there, but we do have a lot of Pisces transits. So I believed I mentioned in the beginning of this video, the North Node is currently in Pisces in your 10th house, which means over the next 18 months, you are growing towards your career, your recognition, your reputation. You're growing towards building a successful reputation for yourself, a successful career, and what that exactly means to you, what it means to feel successful in your career, and how it's more important to feel successful rather than look successful. And by feeling successful, you look more successful. So the Pisces transits are adding to that theme and giving you more indication into what is yet to come. Yes, you are primarily focused on cleaning up your purpose during this time, cleaning up your aspirations, cleaning up your individual life's purpose first before you can work on your career, but you're starting to get a taste of what you're going to be doing next. You're getting some small snippets, so to say, of what it is you're going to be doing in regards to your career going forward, and especially in September of 2025. So on March 2nd, Mercury in Pisces, before it enters Aries, is going to conjunct Neptune in Pisces, which means you may receive some sort of information, have an insight that helps you understand what kind of ideals you're going to want to uphold in your career. On March 2nd as well, the Sun in Pisces squares Jupiter in Gemini in your first house, which means that you may realize that there's certain things that you've expanded in your sense of self that maybe don't quite fit who you want to be in your career. And then you may have to recognize the separation and difference between who you appear as in your career versus who you are to everyone else. On March 8th, the Sun in Pisces trines Mars in Cancer, which is your second house of finances. So something in your finances could come through, or you maybe do something financially that could help you get into the career path you want, or change your career to be how you want it to be, or vice versa. You may realize something that you want to expand in your career, uphold in your career, something you want to hold integrity in your career and career image, and that could help you financially as well. Your finances are really expanding this year with Jupiter being in your second house. And I don't think I've filmed a Gemini 2025 overview for you guys. So let me know in the comments below, do you want me to do a Gemini 2025 horoscope? I know we're already 2 months into the year, but you know, it's never too late. And like I said, you have a lot happening this summer. And then March 12th, to stay on track, the Sun in Pisces is conjunct Saturn in Pisces, so you may be adding an extra layer of discipline or feeling restriction in how exactly you now implement what you want to change in your career or be in your career, and that's just a matter of patience. So those are the general themes. Those are things coming up. A quick few last transits I want to note that are going to affect you. March 19th, Juno goes retrograde in Sagittarius at 1 degree, so that's not necessarily affecting you for a long time, but given that it's in 1 degree, 0 degrees, which can bring this idea of new energy. And Juno is the asteroid of committed love and soulmates. It's the idea of finding your soulmate and finding your partnership, truly a soul connection partnership. When Juno goes retrograde in Sagittarius, this could mean that you are reflecting on, is this my soulmate? And this could apply to those in a relationship, or it could simply mean you're reflecting on the idea of what is a soulmate and who do I think is really going to be this soulmate twin flame match? And you could initiate eventually something new here. It is retrograde, so it may take some time. Also, like I had briefly mentioned with Sun Aries aspects, but I kind of touched or jumped over. March 20th, Aries season begins, which brings extra layers of vitality and strength to focus on prioritizing clarity in your purpose. March 21st, Vesta goes retrograde in Scorpio, and I'm not going to say much about this other than check out my video on the grand water trine we had involving Vesta in Scorpio to get ideas of what exactly is taking place for you, because when Vesta stations retrograde, you may be reflecting on what it is you are devoted to. For you, if I'm calculating correctly, Scorpio is your 6th house. So you may have decided during the grand water trine on February 23rd, I need to remain devoted to my health, to my well-being, to these habits. And now you're reflecting on, should I be devoted to that? Should I not make a soul commitment to that? And then on March 30th, we wrap up the month with Neptune entering Aries. So after we have that solar eclipse in Aries on the 29th, and you initiate a new change, Neptune follows right after to say, let's uphold idealism here. Let's stay on track. Let's stay aligned with our highest values. So now with all that that being said, given that complete overview to your astrology of 2025 and how the eclipses are going to play out for you, what do I recommend? What do you do with that information? So I want to provide a few quick practical tips for Geminis as key takeaways for how to embrace this energy to their benefit. First and foremost, I would look back to April of 2023 and April of 2024 and ask yourself, what were you trying to initiate in your purpose and community during that time? What were you doing in relevance to your aspirations, your purpose, your meaning, your individualized impact? What was going on there, either mentally initiating or physically? Were you trying to do something? Were you changing your community? Were you trying to be a part of a community? Were you starting a project? And I want you to think about, what was the root feeling I was searching for? Was it a feeling of independence? Was it a feeling of impact? Was it a feeling of authenticity? Was it a feeling of being worthy? There's no right or wrong answer. Just really reflect on what the root is that you are going for, because the more clarity you have on that, the more you can achieve the true root of what you want during the solar eclipse in Aries on the 29th. So that's the first thing I would say for Geminis. The second thing I would say, especially for the first half of the month, is assess what needs to be released potentially in your home life, or assess how fulfilling your home life is in general. When I say home life, I mean the city you live, the actual home you live in, your family, and I think that's it, actually. Those are the three main. Yeah. Your family, your place you live as far as the city, and the home you actually physically live in. Is there something that needs to be changed here? Are you critical? Is someone critical? Are things too material focused? And are you spending what you would consider too much time at home? Do you feel very much just too in your comfort zone? And just reflecting on what maybe needs to be released there, really potentially writing that out. Also, I would say, because Mercury is doing so many transits, the third tip I'd give to Geminis is talk to your community. And if you don't have a strong community physically, maybe virtually, and if you don't have either of those, communicate with those who really listen, maybe to those who you follow, who you read books by, who you watch YouTube videos by, who inspire you to make an impact. Really listen to the things that give you a sense of purpose. Invite conversations around that topic, because they can help you understand what it is you need to initiate. You may also be revisiting old conversations around that topic as well that might naturally come up, but be open to dialogue, be open to conversation. I think those are really the three major tips I would give to Gemini. There's more that I could add, but I feel that it is unnecessary and that is pretty cohesive. So Geminis, let me know in the comments below. Are you ready for the month of March? Are you ready for these big changes? What have you been trying to initiate in regards to your purpose and community? What are you thinking or feeling called to initiate in this realm? Because the eclipse portal is already open, we can start to feel this energy already. And I would love to hear down in the comments below what you're feeling called to next. So let me know in the comments below. And if you want to dive deeper into how this month is going to play out for you based off of your unique astrological birth chart, book a reading down below, where either in 1 hour we can dive deep into any and everything, or you can get your quick and simple guide to the eclipses with a 30-minute horoscope. Last quick note on that, I haven't announced this many times on my channel, so I'm just going to take a moment to announce it now. If you're someone who likes to use the stars to your benefit but gets overwhelmed by research, if you're wanting to use astrology as a self-growth tool and a manifestation tool, then I invite you to check out my astrology coaching program, which is for just $100 a month. You get a 45-minute coaching session, you get the recording for free, you get access to all of my astrology workbooks, and you get access to my astrology course, which has a $300 value. So if that sounds interesting to you, if you would like ongoing coaching, if you want to meet up once a month to talk about what's happening in the stars next, stay on track based off of what you're looking for in life, and stay on track with getting your desires achieved, then book a reading, then check it out in the link in the description below. You get what I mean, guys. And if you want more information on that you cannot get the answers to via the link in the description below, then leave a comment below and I'll be sure to answer, because I'm super excited to finally be launching this, to be offering this, because talking about the transits can be sometimes overwhelming via YouTube channel, and there's so much to cover, and sometimes you just need that person in your corner reminding you which things to focus on, which things you don't need to focus on. And let me tell you, as much as I'm an astrologer, I can't quite do that for myself because you get too close to your own chart to see the issue. So I'm super excited to be offering this for other people. And if you know someone who might be interested in this offering, feel free to send them this video or send them the link down in the description below and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, Geminis. Sincerely hope you enjoyed. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Stay tuned for more videos breaking down the stars, and happy eclipse season. Once again, my name's Isabelle, and from my heart to yours, namaste.